The Last Kiss, Part 1. They say love is always beautiful, but sometimes a single twist of fate can turn that beauty into the scariest memory of your life. This is the story of Alex and Sophia, a couple whose final date together became the beginning of a chilling mystery. New York City, Friday night. A symphony of flashing lights, honking traffic, and bustling sidewalks. But high above it all, on a quiet rooftop restaurant, Alex and Sophia were in their own world. For 7 years, they had been inseparable since they first met in college. Tonight wasn't just another date. It was their last one before Alex had to leave for his army duty. Sophia was stunning in a red dress, her smile as radiant as the city lights below. Alex, looking sharp in a black suit, reached for her hand. "You know, Sophia," he said, his voice soft, "in this crazy world, the most precious thing I have is you." Tears welled in her eyes. "Promise me, Alex," she whispered. "No matter where you go, you'll come back to me. I can't even imagine my life without you." Their love felt boundless, their laughter and shared words a perfect melody. They had no idea that a much darker tune was about to play. After dinner, Alex suggested a late-night drive. As their SUV rolled onto the highway, the noise of Manhattan faded away. The radio played soft music, and a blanket of stars appeared in the night sky. Sophia leaned her head on his shoulder. "This night feels like it was made just for us. I wish this moment could last forever," Alex said, smiling. But Sophia's smile suddenly faltered. In the rearview mirror, she noticed a black sedan that had been following them for miles. At first, she dismissed it as a coincidence, but a few minutes later, the same car was still there, a persistent shadow. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "Alex, do you see that? That car has been behind us for too long." "Probably just a coincidence," he replied, though he kept his eyes on the mirror. A few miles passed, and the sedan remained. Alex pulled into an old, nearly abandoned gas station. The only person around was an elderly man inside the small shop. Alex got out to fill the tank, while Sophia stayed in the SUV. A moment later, the same black sedan pulled into a spot nearby. 2 tall men dressed in black emerged, one in a cap, the other in a hoodie. They looked out of place. Sophia's heart began to race. Inside the shop, the old man stared at Alex with a strange, urgent expression. His voice was a low whisper. "You shouldn't be here. This area isn't safe." Alex frowned. "What do you mean?" The man hesitated. "Just leave, quickly." Confused, Alex returned to the SUV. As they drove away, the black sedan followed, just as before. "Alex, they're obviously following us," Sophia cried, a hint of panic in her voice. "We need to do something." Alex floored the gas pedal and then suddenly swerved onto a dark off-road trail leading into the woods. "If they're really following, this will prove it." Sure enough, the sedan turned right behind them. Tears streamed down Sophia's face. "Oh God, Alex, they're gonna hurt us. We need to call the police." Alex grabbed his phone, but the screen was dead. No signal. The SUV tore through the empty woods until Alex spotted a broken-down wooden house, isolated and eerie. "We'll stop here," he said. "Maybe we'll get some reception." They stepped inside. The air was thick with dust, the floors creaked, and crooked picture frames hung on the walls. Sophia gasped when she entered a back room. Dozens of photos of the same woman were tacked to the walls, smiling in one, terrified in another. Her voice shook. "Alex, this is so strange. Who would put this here?" Suddenly, the front door slammed shut. Hard. Headlights flashed through the shattered windows, and the black sedan came to a stop outside. Alex and Sophia were trapped, their escape route blocked. Outside, the 2 strangers waited, their intentions unknown. Who were they? Why were they following? And what was the connection between this eerie house and the couple's last night together? The mystery only gets darker. The wooden house was silent, except for the creaks in the floorboards under Alex and Sophia's feet. Dust floated in the air like tiny ghosts, catching the glow of the SUV's headlights leaking through the shattered windows. Sophia gripped Alex's arm. "They're out there, Alex. What do they want from us?" Alex whispered back. "Stay quiet. Don't let them know we're panicking." But deep down, even he was scared. His army training told him one thing. These men weren't random. They had a purpose. From outside, footsteps crunched against the gravel. A voice, low, chilling, called out, "We know you're in there. Just come out. Make it easy on yourselves." Sophia's breath caught in her throat. Alex motioned for her to stay low as he peeked through a crack in the window. The two men from the gas station stood by the sedan, one holding something metallic that gleamed under the headlights. A crowbar. At this point, Alex knew this wasn't just a coincidence. These men weren't here by mistake. But the question was, why? The house seemed to grow colder. Sophia tugged Alex toward the back door. They quietly stepped through the kitchen, its counters covered in broken glass and old dishes, and pushed open a door that led into the backyard. For a moment, it felt like freedom. The night was wide, the woods dark but open. They rushed toward the trees, hoping to vanish into the forest. But before they could get far, headlights swung around. Another car. Another pair of men. They froze. Sophia whispered, "There's more of them." Alex's chest tightened. This isn't random. They've been planning this. The strangers stepped out, blocking the path to the woods. Behind them, the original two men moved closer from the front. Alex and Sophia were surrounded. One of the men spoke, his voice sharp. "We don't want to hurt you. We just need her." He pointed straight at Sophia. Her heart nearly stopped. "Me? Why me? I don't even know you." Alex stepped in front of her, his fists clenched. "You're not touching her." But there was something in their eyes, something that told Alex this wasn't a simple mugging or a carjacking. They wanted Sophia, for reasons neither of them could understand. Suddenly, tires screeched. Another vehicle pulled up fast. This one a pickup truck. Out jumped a man in his late 40s, rugged, with a shotgun in his hands. He shouted, "Get inside the house now!" Alex grabbed Sophia's hand, and they ran back into the wooden house as the newcomer fired into the air. The attackers scattered, retreating toward their cars. Here is a revised version of The Last Kiss Part 3, written to be more impactful and suspenseful. The Last Kiss, Part 3. The icy river swallowed them whole, the current a cold, unforgiving fist. Water crashed into their faces as Sophia clung to Alex's hand, dragged away from the distant flashlights and shouting voices. Her lungs burned, her red dress now a heavy, waterlogged weight. But Alex kicked hard, pulling her upward. They broke the surface, gasping for air, the moon their only light as the river carried them downstream. Behind them, the men shouted but didn't dare enter the treacherous current, just as Carter had predicted. After what felt like an eternity, Alex and Sophia crawled onto the muddy shore, soaked and shivering. Carter stumbled up behind them, his shotgun still gripped tight. Sophia coughed, tears mixing with river water. "Why?" she choked out. "Why are they after me?" Carter's eyes were heavy with the truth he had to tell. "Because of your mother." Sophia froze. "My mother? She died when I was 10. Carter shook his head. "That's what you were told. But the truth is far darker. She was part of them, that group. She tried to get out. They've been hunting her bloodline ever since." Sophia's heart sank. "You're saying my mother was one of them? She tried to protect you. That's why she disappeared. And now, they've come for you." The words hit Sophia like a physical blow. All her life, she had believed her mother died in a car accident. Now, a stranger was telling her everything had been a lie. Alex pulled her close. "I don't care what they want. They're not taking her." Carter nodded. "Then we fight. But first, we move. There's a cabin deeper in the woods, safer than standing out here." They pushed through the dark forest, mud clinging to their shoes. The night was alive with the distant shouts of their pursuers and the howling wind. Every snap of a branch felt like a warning. Finally, they reached an old hunting cabin. Carter forced the door open and lit a lantern, casting a soft, warm glow across the wooden walls. For the first time in hours, Sophia felt like she could breathe. But the relief was short-lived. From outside, an engine growled. Tires crunched over leaves. Headlights pierced the darkness. They had been followed. Sophia's voice cracked. "They found us again." Alex clenched his fists. "Then we end this. Tonight." The attackers surrounded the cabin. Shadows moved outside, and hushed commands were whispered. Then, a man's voice boomed. "Sophia, come out! You don't know what you're part of." Sophia's whole body shook. "I don't want to be part of anything." Carter raised his shotgun. "They won't stop. But maybe we can turn the tables." Alex scanned the cabin, spotting an old rifle on the wall and a hunting knife on a table. He grabbed the rifle, his hands shaking as he loaded it. The first window shattered. A man's arm reached inside, and Alex fired. The man screamed, collapsing back into the dark. Chaos erupted. Gunfire tore through the cabin walls as Carter returned fire. Sophia ducked low, her hands over her ears, the smell of gunpowder thick in the air. The shouts outside grew louder, then silence. For a moment, everything went still. Then, with a deafening bang, the front door burst open. A tall man in a long coat stepped inside, calm and collected. His eyes locked on Sophia. "So we finally meet?" he said with a cold smile. Sophia's voice was barely a whisper. "Who are you?" "Your uncle." Her blood ran cold. "That's impossible." He took a step closer. "Your mother was my sister. She betrayed us, tried to leave the family. She thought she could hide you forever. But blood always finds its way back. Sophia shook her head violently. No, you're lying. Alex raised the rifle, pointing it directly at him. Stay away from her. The man didn't flinch. You don't understand. She belongs to us. And you, soldier, are standing in the way of destiny. He raised a hand, and dozens of footsteps echoed closer from outside. Carter fired, dropping a man in the doorway. Go, he shouted to Sophia and Alex. Run! Sophia bolted for the back door, but her uncle grabbed her wrist. You can't run from who you are, he hissed. She screamed. Alex charged, slamming into him. The rifle went off, a deafening blast ripping a hole in the ceiling. The two men wrestled on the floor. Sophia, her hands trembling, snatched the hunting knife from the table. Her uncle had Alex pinned, trying to choke the life from him. Tears blurred her vision. She raised the knife and, with a guttural sob, drove it into her uncle's shoulder. He roared in pain, stumbling back. Alex shoved him off and pulled Sophia close. But more men were rushing in. Carter screamed, "Go! Now!" firing again and again until his shells were gone. Alex and Sophia crashed out the back door, sprinting into the woods as flames began to rise from the cabin behind them. They ran until their lungs burned, until the forest opened into a clearing by the river. Sophia collapsed to her knees, sobbing. Why won't this end? Alex knelt beside her, lifting her chin. Because we're still alive. And as long as we're alive, we fight. Headlights appeared on the ridge. The men weren't far behind. Alex held Sophia's face, his voice fierce but tender. Listen to me. No matter what happens tonight, I love you. Always. And then, he kissed her. Their last kiss. Tears streamed down Sophia's face as the roar of the engines grew louder. Carter appeared behind them, bleeding, his shotgun gone. Go. Run! I'll hold them off. Alex shook his head. Not without you. But Carter shoved him hard. You want her safe? Then move. The attackers poured into the clearing. Carter charged at them, screaming, his fists flying as Alex dragged Sophia into the shadows of the forest. Gunshots cracked. Carter's scream echoed, then silence. Sophia clung to Alex, trembling. He saved us. Alex pulled her tighter. We can't waste it. We have to keep going. They vanished into the dark woods, the night swallowing them whole. And that was the last time anyone ever saw Alex and Sophia. Some say they drowned in the river. Some say they escaped, starting a new life under new names. Others believe the group finally caught them, burying the truth forever. But the only thing we know for certain is that their love was real. And their final kiss remains the greatest mystery of all.